Perfect. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm looking forward to tonight and telling you all about all the great trips that we have for 2019 and 2020 on river cruising. Tammy and I, Singles Travel International, we've been working together now for how many years, Tammy? It's been quite a few. And we just keep on getting better and better with this and adding some more cruises for all of you. So excited to tell you what we have for this year and next year, and then we'll talk about one that we'll release here in a couple weeks. So yeah, I love this picture. This is actually taken by one of my coworkers. So this is real. This is what it looks like on a river cruise. And we'll talk a little bit about what to expect on a river cruise, the differences between river cruising and big ship cruising, what to expect while you're on the ship, and of course, all these great itineraries that we have for you. Go ahead, Tammy.
All righty. All right, so just a brief synopsis, and this is just 4 of the many, many reasons why traveling with Singles Travel International is to your advantage. Have you ever been on a trip where you were with a group and you signed up and you got there and everybody on the trip was connected with somebody else already? And even though you were with a crowd, you found yourself kind of alone on that vacation. Have you ever been on a vacation by yourself where you didn't have anybody to share that experience with? And I don't know about you guys, but years and years ago, which is part of the reason why I started this company, was because I used to travel a lot. And I still do, actually. And one of the things I would get excited about was planning my vacation and heading out to make my reservation. I had the destination picked out. I was a cruiser. And, to have to pay more for my cruise just because I was by myself was super infuriating. And sometimes I would take a friend. Sometimes I would have a friend share with me, but not often. I was often by myself. I was brave. I always had my passport in my pocket. I was ready to go at any moment's notice. And I just really hated paying that extra money. And so that's some of the motivation for joining and starting STI, so that I could not only meet new people, make new friends, but to save money and help my members save money on their vacations. And then the best part of traveling with Singles Travel, after saving thousands of dollars, meeting new people, singles in your age range, is the concierge advantage. With 20 or more, we have a concierge. Many of you who have traveled with us have met Vicky, have met June, have met Kelly. We have a new concierge boarding. Her name is Sandra. And they're full of love and caring. And they're there with their uniforms, their name badges, 24/7 to make sure that everybody in our group is interacting with each other and having the time of their lives. And they also act as a buffer. If anything should happen, of course, with AVALON Waterways, we never get any complaints. It's over the top, wonderful vacation experience. But should there ever be anything that comes up, the STI concierge is there to help you. So there's a lot of reasons to go with us. And those are just a few that I want you to think about too during the course of the presentation tonight.
All right, so we are going to talk about river cruising versus ocean cruising, just some of the differences. I'm sure some of you on here have been on some of our river cruises and maybe some other companies, but if you haven't, just to tell you a little bit about what is included on a river cruise, and then we'll get into like what to expect for dining, entertainment, but what is included in a river cruise and some of the differences with big ship cruising. And for those of you that did travel with us over the last couple of years, I appreciate it. And for those that didn't, you are going to love it if you decide to travel with us. So you'll see right there, kind of on the right-hand side, complimentary, extra cost. So you'll see the most that we'll have on board Avalon is 166 passengers. That is the most. We have a few ships that have 126 passengers. So those are the two choices, either 126 or 166. Versus, I like the slide, it's actually probably changed over the last couple of years, right? Some of the big ship cruises now have 6,000 passengers. But I think in talking with Tammy over the last year, This is what you guys are asking for. You want more intimate, not as many people traveling, not 6,000 people on a ship and less people on board. So this is exactly what this is. So on the left-hand side there, you'll just see some of the things that are included on Avalon. So you have sparkling wine with breakfast. We have beer, wine, and refreshments, including for lunch and dinner. What's not on here, but just to let you know, we do have happy hour, an hour before dinner, and it's 2 for 1 on everything. We do have bottled water in the staterooms, and they swap it out during the day. And actually during the day too, we always have water, especially some of these active discovery cruises that we're going to talk about. All of the cabins are outside staterooms. We're also going to see where it says choice of shore excursions. I'm going to, on each of these itineraries, read out a few that we have going on each day. But what's nice with our choices is that some of our competitors with river cruising, they'll just give like 1 walking tour a day. But I'm going to show you how we have like 2, 3, sometimes 4 that you can choose from, which is nice. Again, all of our cabins are outside staterooms. And then we also have these French balconies. They're 200 square feet. We'll show you some pictures of those. In the back of the ship, we have a club lounge that has this awesome machine that has your lattes, your cappuccinos, your hot milk for your hot chocolate. And there's actually a second machine in the lounge, the main lounge. It's funny because people were complaining that they had to go all the way to the back of the ship for their cappuccino. So we added second machines in the lounge. And again, this is complimentary. We do have choice of dining, which we'll talk about later. We have robes and slippers in every cabin. We have L'Occitane products, and we have different scents that you can pick from. And also in the back of the ship, in the club lounge, we have snacks in the back with that cappuccino maker. So these are just a couple of things that are included. Just to give you an example, I went last year on our active discovery Danube cruise, which is one of the ones that we'll be talking about for 2020. My bill at the end of the trip was €7. That was it. You can prepay gratuities before you go, but you know what? You guys are on a group, so your gratuities are included. So when I traveled, I prepaid my gratuities. So once I got on board, I didn't really have to pay for anything. My bill, like I said, was €7. I'm a cheap date. I had 3 Sprites. But if you would, let's say, go to the bar like in the afternoon and get a glass of wine or anything like that, there would be a fee. But again, beer and wine is included for lunch. Beer and wine is also included for dinner, including refreshments. And just remember, on a river cruise, what's also different is that we're not checking your bottles of wine that you're bringing on board. So let's say you're in a really cool town and you want to buy a bottle of wine, you can bring it on board. You could do it in every town. So we don't monitor that. So it's really nice. So you can bring a bottle of wine on board, go up to the top deck, maybe if you buy some cheese, some bread. So again, you can bring on wine, which is nice, or any other alcohol that you want to bring on. Go ahead, Tammy.
All righty.
I love this picture. This is actually one of our coworkers that's sitting back here. This is the club lounge. All of our ships have this. This is my favorite part of the ship. I always like my cabin to be right next to this because this is where your cappuccino maker is in the back. This is just such a cool place to be. A lot of people go back here to read, hang out. We can fit quite a few people back there, but it's just you can see why we have this in the back of the ship. It's kind of where your thrusters are. So this is where the vibration is. So we don't have any cabins in the back of the ship. So again, all of our ships are all now very similar. They're all suite ships, which we'll talk about when I show you the cabins. But again, all of our ships have this club lounge in the back. Go ahead, Tammy. So this is just a picture from the cabin. I like this picture. Our cabins are 200 square feet. So all of our ships are now suite ships. And what does that mean? You do have cabins on the bottom that are 172 square feet. That is the smallest cabin. Everything above that is 200 square feet if the bed's facing out. Hey, Tammy, I'm starting to echo. I don't know if it's... I don't know if it's something on your side.
I hear you without an echo from my perspective.
Okay. Okay.
You called in, right? Is your computer audio?
I did. Do you have yours on your computer or the phone? I'm wondering if that's what it is.
On the computer.
That's what it is. I think I'm hearing the reverb. Okay. So these are our cabins that are 200 square feet. What's nice is this is an 11-foot sliding glass door with 7 feet of it opening up. So this is absolutely beautiful. Hey, do you think, Tammy, would you mind muting yourself for let me just see if that changes it?
You got it.
Because if I'm hearing it, I don't know if everybody else is hearing it.
You got it.
Let me see if that works.
Give me a second.
Okay, let me see. That is much better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so these are the cabins. Sorry about that. 11 feet is the sliding glass door and 7 feet of it open up. And what's nice, and when I travel with work, I have a roommate all the time, and these cabins are such a good size for a roommate. They're 200 square feet of full living space. There's a sofa right here. There's a chair right there. So basically that is your balcony, which is nice. So it doesn't take away from the size of your cabin. Okay, Tammy. So this is just another view of the cabin. They have flat screen TVs, bottled water in the cabins, refrigerators are in the cabins. Beds are a little bit higher. Of course, they can separate. They're a little bit higher that you can put suitcases underneath, plenty of closet space for 2 of you. Bathrooms are big, so a lot of room, which is nice. Now, even like I mentioned, the cabins on the bottom, those are 172 square feet. Great size for 2 people if you're roommates. You know, and if you have your own cabin, you know, these are plenty big. And again, what's nice is you have a lot of space in the closet, a lot of hangers. So these cabins are really the largest in the industry, which is nice. Okay, Tammy. So this is just another view from the outside. What you can't tell about the cabin is that the wall behind the bed is on a bit of an angle. So what that does is it opens up the bathroom. Go ahead, Tammy. So these are your bathrooms. So plenty of space, marble countertops. These are L'Occitane products, so a very high-end French product. It's funny because whenever I travel, I always stock up for like Christmas in the future for stocking stuffers because it's like 50 euros for a set that you see here. If you look at other pictures that we have, you'll see now with the new ships coming out and just with us changing some things in the cabins, you now have a choice of a different scent. Because we've been using the same one here for a couple years. These are the lounges. So back of the ship, this is in the main lounge up here in the top right-hand side. All 166 people can fit in the lounge. This is your main lounge where you have your dance floor, your main bar, and in the back of that main lounge is that area there on the top left-hand corner. This is where, you know, the main lounge, you have your port talk, you have your happy hour, you have the entertainment at night. So this is really your main place on the ship. This is just another picture of one of our club lounges that's in the back of the ship. A lot of people come back here. You know, if the weather's maybe not that great, you don't want to be out on the top deck, this is a great place to see the scenery. Another shot with the club lounge. So when you're looking at the ship, you can't really see it here, but there are cabins on the bottom in blue. Those are the cabins that are 172 square feet with a really nice sized window. Then the front there, where the glass is on the bottom, that's your dining room. So you have one main dining room, and we'll talk about that also. Above that is your lounge, and then up on the top is your sun deck. You know, one of my other favorite parts of the ship. You can just cruise on down the Danube, cruise on down the Rhine. You also go through locks, which is very cool. You know, that's what made river cruising complete, is you can now go from river to river, and even just one section of the river to another section of the river, and you go through all of these series of locks. And the engineering is insane, but what's nice is you can now still sit up on the top deck and you can go through these locks because of the engineering of our ships. But it's great up on the sun deck. They have a lot of area which it's shaded, so great place to be. So let's talk a little bit about the food. We have a bunch of different dining opportunities. For breakfast, it's an early riser breakfast, and then for breakfast, it's either buffet or you order from the menu. And then what we do is after breakfast, you get off the ship, you have your walking tours. These are all included in the price. And once we get into the itineraries, I'll tell you a little bit more, with the different itineraries and what's included. You have free time in town. We bring you back on the ship. You'll have lunch. Lunch is either you order from the menu. There's one or two things on the menu. We have a buffet lunch. If the weather's great, we have a little bistro, a cookout outside with a guitar player. Also, every day in the main lounge, we have a light lunch there. So you have a lot of different opportunities. We usually stop again after lunch, and then you come back on at 4 o'clock. We have tea time, we have cookies and cake, and then dinner. What's new for this year, dinner is from 7 to 9, but it's open seating. Dinner was always from 7 to 9, and Lord forbid you get there at 7:15. But now, what's nice is it's, you can come at 7:30 and stay for a half hour if you want. Let's say we're docked overnight in town and you just maybe want to grab some soup and get off the ship. You can do that now, so you don't have to sit there for 2 hours. Some people will sit there for 2 hours because they like the beer and wine for the 2 hours. But it's nice, though, that now we have this open seating, which is nice for dinner. We also have a little area in the back of the ship, which is like a tapas wine night, and you can just grab something and you can also go. Okay, Tammy.
Okay, and also, Denise, I was just going to say that even though it is open dining, we would organize a special time for our members so that they have a chance to dine together if they do stay on board.
Exactly. This just kind of shows the different dining venues I just spoke about. The bottom left-hand side is in the main lounge. We do have room service. You can get room service in the morning. Top right-hand side, this is sitting outside. It's just really nice to be outside. You're docked right in the middle of Europe and have a little cookout outside. The picnic lunch, it's really not a picnic basket, but if you do want to go for a bike ride and you want a lunch to take with you, they will make you a lunch and you can go for a bike ride, which is nice. Go ahead, Tammy. So this just kind of shows you, we do have tables from 2 to 8. And again, like Tammy said, we'll, grab some tables for you guys. If, you guys all want to sit together at a certain time, we can do that also. Go ahead, Tammy. So flex dining, we talked about. So it's something new. I think it's just wonderful. You have a lot of people that, they're not heavy eaters, and we have a lot of different, you've got your appetizer, you've got your salad, and some people may not want to be there for 2 hours, but it is nice just to relax during dinner and be there for 2 hours and not worry about anything and just enjoy yourself. And like I said, you have beer and wine included, and we always call it the happy glass because as soon as that glass goes down, they fill up your glass of wine. And it's all regional, which is nice. So especially, if you're on the Rhine or if you're on the Danube or if you're on France, they'll have some regional wine, which is great.
That's nice. That adds up. Those little details add up from cruise to cruise.
It does, yeah. No, it's really nice. So we do have 3 different types of excursions. I'm sorry, Tammy, I'm echoing again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm gonna call in. Okay, so you'll just talk on this slide for just a minute. Thanks, Denise.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we have 3 different types of excursions. I mentioned before, a lot of river cruise companies, they'll just give you one walk. Read some off to you when I get into some of these itineraries. So let's say you are doing the Rhine. So one of the examples would be a classic tour would be a canal cruise. But what we're finding now is that people are doing multiple river cruises. So let's say they already did the Rhine and now they want to do something else. So one of the other choices might be painting like Van Gogh, wine tasting, beer tasting, different things like that. So we have 3 different types of excursions. We have classic, which are just your classic walking tours. So like I'm going to read just one of the days for you. This is in Mainz. A classic walking tour, it says, enjoy a guided city walk, included a visit to the Gutenberg Museum to see the captivating history of printing. And then another one would be another classic walking tour where you go to Heidelberg Castle and you go inside and you see the world's largest wine barrel, or you have an active. So it says, join your adventure host for an afternoon hike up Philosophic Way for an inspiring view of the city below. So this is where you see 3 different types of excursions. So Tammy, if you're back on, you can move the slide. Hopefully Tammy's back on. There we go. So there's active. So again, you'll have 3 different types of excursions. You have your classic, you have your active, and then we'll also have some discovery, which is the next one, Tammy. So it's nice that we don't just throw one walking tour over to you. So it's nice because you'll have different choices throughout the day. A few things that are new for 2019. If some of you have been on Avalon before, you'll remember right next to that club lounge was a salon. Well, nobody is using the salon. So we took out the salon and we put an adventure center. This will be on all of our ships. So let's say you're in town and you want to go for a bike ride. We have 10 bicycles on board. You can go sign out a bike. You would go to the adventure center, sign out a bike, get a helmet. You can get binoculars, yoga mats, stretch bands, walking sticks, maps, day packs. You can get, a lunch. So any of this you would do with the adventure center. Go ahead, Tammy.
And that's a big change. That's a big difference for people who want to do.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that you don't gain any weight when you go to Europe anyway, because there's so much walking.
There is. There's so much walking and there's so much to do. And we're noticing that, the demographics are changing with our river cruise. People want to be more active. A lot of people don't take a river cruise because they think, it's going to be too boring. It's too old for me, but we're seeing that it's changing, and that's why we're adding all of this on our ships. One thing also, we're adding apps for all of our brands. So Avalon was the first one. So you can download the app. There's maps on there, social media sharing, navigation. It won't, eat up your Wi-Fi. So it's a great app for you. So that's one thing that we added also that you can download on the phone.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really nice feature. And I know that even before our members travel, they have access now to My Avalon, which helps them organize all of the details of their trip right before they go. So thanks for that.
Exactly. Yep. No, it's great. So I mentioned about bikes on board. We used to only have a few, and they would be signed out all the time. You'll see on a lot of our excursions, we have bike tours, so that wouldn't be with these bikes. But these are bicycles, and these are bicycles. These aren't e-bikes, but you'll see that some of our excursions that are included on a lot of these cruises, we do have an e-bike excursion, which has a little bit of electric, so it makes your life easier. But these are pure bicycles. So these are great, though. They're first come, first serve, but they are so much fun. So some people will get a bike and they will ride the bike to the next port. And they're not too far. And we'll talk about this on some of these river cruises where, like I did a 12-mile bike ride on the Danube. It's one of the ones that we're offering for you guys for 2020. It was the most beautiful bike ride I have ever been on, and it's flat. And 12 miles might sound a lot, I don't bike ride 12 miles every day, and it was easy peasy. So it's really nice to have these bikes on board if you want to just sign out a bike and go for a little bike ride, or if you want to go again to the next port, you can also do that. Go ahead, Tammy. So, all right, let's get into the different cruises that we have. So first, we're going to start for 2019. Some of these pictures are my pictures here that I took. I did this 3 years ago, which is hard to believe. Time flies. This is the RHINE Christmas Market. So this is for December 7th, 2019, so for this year. What's nice about this is that, you know, when you look at the map there on the right-hand side, this is one big thing that's different with river cruising, is that your ship docks, you get off, and you have all of these walking tours. So what they'll have is singles travel will have one bucket of headsets. So you'll come down in the morning, they'll have your sign, you grab a headset and go with your guide. So they'll have your group with one guide. All of these walking tours are all included in the price. So you see these maps here of all the towns, and when we dock, you get off and you have your walking tour. A lot of the Christmas markets are going on at that time. I did this one, like I said, 3 years ago. So some of the walking tours I kind of cut a little short just because I wanted to check out more of the Christmas markets. And some of these areas were docked at night, so you can go see the Christmas markets at night. So it is such a wonderful trip. So for 2019, for the promotion, we unfortunately are sold out of the no single supplement, but we do have availability. And if you want to book for double occupancy, it's $500 off per person. So I know when Tammy was switching over to the phone, I read over just a couple excursions that you can do. I'll just read off, like in Cologne, Germany, some of your choices is just a classic walking tour of Cologne. And then we also have a discovery one, which is choose a guided walking tour of Cologne's Jewish heritage sites. You also have in Rudesheim, you can take a guided tour of the Mechanical Museum, which is actually a pretty cool one. I did that. It's an instrument experience, so it's a mechanical music museum. Another choice is coffee tasting or wine tasting. So you'll just see these different things that are offered throughout the trip. But it's nice, like I said, you have choices. One thing that they did when I was on this in Amsterdam, this is something that we recently added a couple of years ago, was you take a canal cruise at night. So it was like you were stalking people at night because you're on a canal cruise going through the middle of town. And the Dutch, you know, we were asking this question, like, why do people not have curtains on their windows? And they're like, that's the way the Dutch are. You know, they're proud of what they have. And you would look in these beautiful homes, these row homes that are, you know, very historic, and just the way that they were all decorated. And it was, you know, it was just such a cool experience. And you just see people living their lives at night, watching TV, cooking in the kitchen. And it was really cool with all the Christmas lights. So that was an included excursion. You won't see it in the brochure, but it's something that they put in there. It's just kind of a special feature for you. This is one of my favorite. Oh, next slide, Tammy. So, Tammy, I'm trying to change the slides and my fingers.
Oh, I know. And you know, one of the things, we just had a group of 30 come back from this Christmas, and one of the highlights was they had Black Forest cake in the Black Forest.
Yeah. That was, I remember we did that in the Black Forest, and it was pretty good. These are actually my two pictures. So one thing in the Christmas markets is, of course, the glue vine. But it was funny because you can see the picture, you can see my coworker standing behind there. We totally lucked out. It was in the 60s. So you see, we don't have gloves on. It was very mild when we went. It was the week before Christmas, and we lucked out. But this is just one of my pictures on the right from one of the markets in town. And I had the hot chocolate, and my friend had the glue vine, and you get to keep these mugs. So somebody was just telling me they just did this, and they were collecting all these mugs, and they couldn't get them all in their suitcase at the end of their trip. But you can just hop from market to market and drink the glue vine or the hot chocolate. So it is such a fantastic experience. Okay, Tammy. Okay, so this just shows you some of the ones I was reading out, like a classic, tour, an active, a classic, and discovery. So these are just some of the different excursions that are offered to you, which is nice. Okay, Tammy. All right, so we have another one to offer you. I've been on this a couple times. I didn't do the Northern Holland, but This is a fantastic cruise, especially it's tulips of Northern Holland. So you get to see all the fields of tulips, and you also get to Keukenhof. So this is a 7-night cruise, and I'm also going to just read off just a couple excursions for you. What's nice about Keukenhof is that we take you to Keukenhof. You can either choose a half-day sightseeing of Keukenhof. You know, they just kind of leave you at the Keukenhof and you can walk around, or do the full day. If you haven't been, I would definitely opt for the full day because you really need a full day to kind of get everything in at Keukenhof. And Keukenhof is just, you know, the big flower area where they have all these displays, and it is just absolutely beautiful. So just some of the excursions that we have in Rotterdam, you have join a full or half-day guided tour of Keukenhof. If you don't want to do that, we also have, you know, a local, if you just want to do a walking tour in the area, but we also have a classic tour, of course, in the afternoon when you get back, and it's of, you know, you go and take some samples of Gouda cheese. You can actually bring some back, which is nice. You know, they wrap it up for you, and then they also give you some stroopwafels, which of course you have to have some stroopwafels, which is the local food. We also have a classic walking tour. Take a guided excursion to visit the Royal Planetarium. So it's the oldest planetarium that's still working. So these are just some of the excursions that you'll have throughout the week. And it's just a wonderful vacation. The thing about this is you'll see here, it is almost sold out. And remember, all these cruises that we're talking about, you also have prepaid gratuities because you are traveling as a group. And also here you'll see $2.99 air out of major gateway cities. So what that means is there are about 15 cities, you know, and of course singles travel will help you, but there's about 15 gateway cities where the air is $2.99. I live near Tampa. That's a secondary city, and it's about a $200 surcharge. So you figure $4.99 air, and then save up to $2,200. So it is a huge savings if you are traveling on this one. So this, again, it is almost sold out, and like Tammy has on here, there's only category P left.
So I'm just going to add a little bit, and guys, Megan is available at 877-765-6874, extension 708. She's there now. She's able to answer questions. We also have all of the details about the air special on every page on which it applies. And on this particular one, there's still some space left. We have over 20 people. We'd love to have you. But the $2.99 air deal is only on the top level cabin, which is what most of our members take. But we do have a couple of shares available and still some other space. So I wouldn't wait any much longer if you wanted to join us this April on the Tulips of Northern Holland.
And I think I'm correct that we don't have any of the no single supplements available, right? Those are also sold out already, right?
Yes, yeah. And that's something that's important for everybody to know is they usually get scooped up within 24 to 48 hours of this webinar. These no single supplements get sold out because the price is so much better. So, you know, we'll move on to show you all. There's so many great destinations that we want to share with you. So we're going to keep plugging along. It'll be hard to decide, but we'll try to make it really appealing to you.
Exactly. Okay, so about a year and a half ago, we came out with some new cruises. These are called active discovery cruises. If you're not super active, don't let the word active scare you because it is not crazy active. However, you will find some more of these active and discovery excursions offered. Like I said, I did the Danube last year. It was a blast. You know, you have canoeing, you have hiking, you have kayaking, these beautiful bike rides. So I'll give you some examples of some of the excursions that we have, and we'll tell you about the 3 that we have that are active discovery cruises. And again, remember, these ships are all the suite ships with the 200 square foot cabins. That was one thing that is new for 2019 is that it's across the board. So I just want you to look at this screen. On the right-hand side is a typical RHINE cruise, like the Christmas market one that we were talking about. The one on the left-hand side is an active discovery. What you will find that's different is with the one on the left, that's the active discovery, you actually cruise more during the day, and it's also more port intensive. You can see it doesn't travel all the way down to Basel because it is more port intensive. So what's nice is, like I did the Danube last year on the active discovery, what we did is we pulled over one day to let people go on a hike. Then we pulled off again, let some people go on a bike ride. It was kind of hot that day, so I opted out. I literally cruised all day down the Danube, sat on the sun deck, and read a book all day. I have never done that on a river cruise, and I was on an active discovery cruise. So definitely look at these. It is just, and the thing is too, you'll see comparing these, look at all these really cool stops that you make. What we're trying to do with really all of our cruises is we're trying to stop at places that are off the beaten path and just these quaint little towns. So I just wanted to show you that. Go ahead, Tammy. So we have two active discovery RHINE cruises. We have Southbound, which is June 8th, 2019, and we have Northbound. So Southbound means you start in Amsterdam, go to Frankfurt, and then Northbound, you fly into Frankfurt and in Amsterdam. On both of these, we have waived single supplements available. So you don't get charged for a double, you just pay the per person price and you get the cabin to yourself. You can choose to take a cabin on the bottom, or you can take one of those higher categories like the cabins that we showed you with the beds facing out. If you choose to have a roommate, so double occupancy, that promotion is $500 off per person plus $299 air, like we mentioned, out of those major gateway cities. So it's a great promotion if you're traveling as a single, and it's a great promotion if you're traveling with a roommate. This here on the left-hand side at the bottom is Cologne. That's the cathedral in Cologne. It's funny, they're always pressure washing it because it's always dirty on certain sides, but it is a awesome cathedral and you get to go inside there. So just to give you some excursions, I'm just gonna read some off to you which are on the active discovery on the Rhine. So this is in Cologne. In the morning, you can take a running tour, and that's first thing in the morning. Or you can take an off the beaten path guided tour of the Belgian quarter of Cologne, or you can visit Cologne's Chocolate Museum and learn the process of chocolate production, or you can take a guided walk of Cologne to explore the old city. So you see there is a ton of excursions for you to take. Another one is active, take a guided tour of a castle, visit its battlements overlooking the Rhine, and then you walk down the surrounding hillside. Or we have a discovery excursion, which is join a unique guided volcano experience in the lava city of Mendig. So you'll see all of these different off the beaten path excursions on here, which is nice. Okay. So this is a newer one for us, and Tammy, we were talking about this last year that we really wanted to put this out for you. This is a new excursion. This is the active discovery on the Rhone. So this is kind of like your Burgundy and Provence. So you'll see there's a couple different excursions also for that. And let me just read you a couple that we have. So active discovery on the Rhone. So if you go to Avignon, so we'll have an Avignon stop. Here you can do an active, join a guided e-bike, so those are those electric bikes, through the birthplace of French rosé. After the tour, enjoy some wine tasting. That sounds like a great excursion, biking and wine tasting. You also have a discovery. Enjoy a guided tour. You go into where they make some perfume. Or the classic one is just a walking tour of Avignon. So these are just some excursions, and you can see you don't have to be a triathlon athlete to do these active excursions. You know, a lot of these, they have like an early morning walk, which takes you to like their market and just some off the beaten path areas that you wouldn't normally go on a walking tour. So this is the active discovery on the Rhone.
I know, Denise, when I was in the Danube a couple of years ago, we actually went on the market shopping with the chef on board the cruise, on board the vessel. So that was a lot of fun. And I see here that there's a painting workshop. Wow, that's awesome, because that's where Van Gogh did all of his paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of his paintings too.
Yeah. So in the town of Arles is where he kind of lost it and cut his ear off. So, but just don't duplicate that, right?
Right. Exactly.
This just kind of shows you the stops, and same thing. If you put this side by side on our Burgundy and Provence cruise, you'll see that we're not cruising as long. You're actually cruising more during the day, and you're stopping at all these really cool stops. And this is great for wine. This is the wine region, your Burgundy and Provence. So this is a great river cruise. So we have the active discovery on the Rhone. This is on August 13th, 2019. We do have waived single supplements available and the same promotion. $5 off per person, plus $2.99 air out of major gateway cities. And again, singles travel can help you with the cities, and if you're a secondary city, and what that upcharge would be. So this is a great cruise, and we were excited to bring this to you just because this is a newer one, and a lot of people are asking for France river cruising. So this is a great trip. And this one's actually selling quite well too. Yes, definitely.
Vive la France.
Vive la France. All right, so we're going to get into 2020. I know it seems a ways away, but it isn't now that we're almost towards the end of January. So we're moving into 19, going to 2020. So we have two that we're bringing to you, and we'll have one that we'll bring out here in a couple weeks, because we're not quite ready on our side, on the Avalon side, to bring it out. But we do have some 2020 river cruises. This is the one that I did. I'm actually going on it again this year. This is the active discovery on the Danube. So this one, it's into Linz out of Budapest. So you're doing Vienna, you're doing Budapest, you're going some really cool areas. And again, you can see, it doesn't cruise as long because it's more port intensive. So this is July 30th of 2020. So what we're also doing for promotions, because this is early and we're technically not out yet, Tammy got some early promotions for singles travel. It's fixed air of $2.99, and also we have waived single supplements. So do we still have quite a bit left on this one for waived single supplements. So
we just published it this morning, so it's brand new, hot off the press. Exactly. So if anybody is interested in this trip, please book it. These single supplements will be gone in the next 2 days. And Denise, are you saying that there's a combinable no single supplement? No, I don't think so. Yeah,
either or. So usually when you take a single, that is the promotion. So if you would choose to have a roommate and do double occupancy, right now it's 2019 pricing for both if you take the waived single, and then it's 2019 pricing if you take a double occupancy if you have a roommate, and then you also have $2.99 air, fixed air, doesn't matter which airport, and also don't forget you have prepaid gratuities because you're traveling with singles travel.
Right. I'm just going to actually, this is a quick note on the difference between the cabins. So double is when you're sharing with another traveler, and Singles Travel International does guarantee roommates up until our final payment date. That's been our standard policy for 25 years. However, it's been my personal mission this last 6 or 7 years to try to get companies like AVALON Waterways to give our members a better price for their own cabin. That's what we're talking about when we say no single supplement. It means that you get your own cabin and you don't have to pay double the price. So that's probably for most of these cruises that we're talking about tonight that have a special, and they all do, other than the some limited basis on the Holland one for April of 19. All the rest of them have the no single supplement, meaning you don't pay much more or any more for your own cabin. And that's what's going to probably be your best bargain. And those will go first. Then after they're sold, we will then convert to the sharing policy, where we'll match you with another man if you're a man, or a female if you're a woman. And that's where you're going to save your money, because you're going to have a roommate with you, and then you'll get the $2.99 airfare. So I hope that helps just clear a little bit, because we're throwing out a lot of different numbers and terms, and just to keep it simple. I hope that helps.
Right. I wanted to tell you too, looking at the map here, see where it says the Wacow Valley. That's where your bike ride is. And that is where a lot of people go just to cycle, you know, and they'll stay in hotels along the way and bike ride all along the Danube. So that's where we did our 12-mile bike ride, and it was unbelievable. And then also Visegrad, which you'll see right there near Budapest. What we do is we go up to this castle, you have a tour of the castle, and then you come out, and it's these medieval nights, and they're real medieval nights. It's not like going to Orlando with the medieval night evening, but they're real nights, and they have jousting, and you can join in. It's a lot of fun. So it's a great trip. So good memories for me on this one. And then we'll talk about the next one that we have for 2020. Oh, there's the promotion. So that's where I was mentioning we have, you know, the prepaid gratuities also for all the groups and waived singles available. And that's actually Budapest there on the left-hand side at night.
That's right. And we've got pre and post cruise packages as well. So if you want to come in early or stay late, we can always help organize that. Megan can help you.
And these are just a couple pictures. Oh, sorry. These are just a couple pictures. Of course, this is Budapest on the right-hand side. One of the excursions on here is some wine tasting, you know, in a wine cellar. So this is just one of the excursions that we have on the active discovery on the Danube. And then the next one I'm excited about. So Tammy put this together purposely on the state for King's Day. Now, Tammy, I know you were there during King's Day. I have not. So can you tell us about it?
I sure can. I mean, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a party girl at heart. I started this company because I wanted to travel. I wanted to meet new people, make new friends. And I always just envisioned us connecting with, or my members connecting with people all over the world and enjoying what their culture is all about. So it was by coincidence, the very first European group that I did in 1994 was to Amsterdam, and it happened to be during Queen's Day, because now there's a king, right? So at the time it was Queen's Day. And so the entire city closes down. The barges are filled with Amsterdammers. It's one big long parade. Every street corner is filled with somebody selling their wares. You can, I'm going to go over the edge here. And anybody who knows anything about Amsterdam knows that everything is legal there, right?
Little edgy, yeah.
Yeah. So there were little brownie stands on every corner, and people were drinking Heineken beer. And so it is a party atmosphere. So that might not be for everybody, but if you are looking to do a nice cruise where you're going to get all of these sites that Denise talked about, and then have a 3-night party in Amsterdam, this is the cruise for you. It was amazing. We never slept that night.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It was funny because I was in, where was I? I was in Canada, and they were getting ready for an event very similar to this. And but it was funny because when I was looking at the slides, you know, and pictures that people had for King's Day, I'm like, oh my God, this looks so much fun.
And here's one of the things that Lindsay put together yesterday is we're going to have our own barge for our own party. Yes, and we've got our hotel locked in place. I mean, you can't get a room in Amsterdam at this time of the year, and so we've already got that locked in. We're staying at the Hilton. We have a great relationship with them, and we've been to Amsterdam so many times, so we're ready. We're ready for you guys if you're ready.
Oh, perfect. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, next slide.
Yeah, so the next slide, you'll see pictures of King's Day.
Yeah.
It's funny because, I live near Tampa and they had the invasion today, Gasparilla. So I think it looks kind of similar to this. So these are just some pictures here from King's Day. So it does look like a hoot.
Right.
So
And it's a beautiful weather time. And that's actually true. Well, it's orange is the royal color. So that's why everybody's dressed in orange. And that was my first clue. Everybody was walking around with oranges. I still have my orange hat from last time.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have
we'll
to
be
bring
wearing
it.
orange.
I love it. I love it. So,
okay.
Tammy, did you want to go to me really quick, just so I can show them the slide of the cruise that we're going to bring out in a couple weeks?
Oh, yeah. Okay, great, Denise. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Denise so that she is going to either that or, you're talking about the one in the fall?
So, yeah. So we can't bring it out yet, just so you guys all know, because we're tweaking this one a little bit. But Tammy wanted to put one together for Bucharest. So this is the map of the one that we're looking at doing. It goes from Budapest to Bucharest. It's a 6-night cruise. What I think you might see some changes are with land. That's why we're not bringing this out quite yet. So this will be ready on February 7th, and we can roll this out to all of you, because I know Tammy wanted to kind of time this with the fall in October and add Transylvania. So this is what we're aiming for in a couple weeks. So in like 2.5 weeks, we should have this ready for you. And again, it's a 6-night cruise, Budapest to Bucharest. And then Tammy, it's up to you, what land you want to add, if you want to do Budapest or Bucharest, and then add Transylvania onto it. I know this one is on my list. I'd like to do this one.
We're dying to go to Transylvania.
I know we won't have a lot of waived singles available just because this sailing, but we will open up a couple. The problem with this is there aren't a lot of dates for this. So that's why on some of these you see some limited waived singles, but I'm excited for you guys to be looking at this for 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go back to your.
So yeah, no problem. I just wanted to mention the reason we're showing this is because sometimes, and one of our emphasis this year is by April of 2019, we intend that all of our future programs will be available for you to get involved and make a reservation 18 months in advance. We're so mentioned that we are going to have all of our trips out 18 months in advance. And why does that help? And why are we showing you this one? Because you may be interested in one of the other trips, and then you'll book that, and then we'll announce the Balkan Discovery, and then you'll want to change over to that one. So now you have a full picture of everything that we're going to be doing for 2019 and 20, and we won't be changing that up likely. So if this is the cruise for you, then you'll definitely want to hold off on it, and we'll have some promotions, as Denise said, when it's announced after February 7th. Right. So that's the reason why I want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek.
Yep.
And so here is just kind of a little bit of a recap here. Once again, I mean, how did everybody like the presentation? I'd love to see some comments. I've got lots of questions here that we're going to be answering, but in the meantime, did you guys like the presentation? Do you feel that you know more about river cruising than you ever did before? I'm hoping that you did. I know that we're coming up on our time right now. It's exactly 9 o'clock. So we're going to wrap this up right now, reminding you of all the fabulous things with river cruising. You're going to go home with a new perspective. You'll not have a huge bill when you come home. Almost everything is included. Mm-hmm. You're going to meet with Singles Travel International. Not only do you have the vacation to look forward to, but the minute you join and register and make your reservation, you can start meeting new people, and especially those that are on your vacation. You'll get a chance to cruise with singles in your age range. That's who we are. We're baby boomers. We're upper 40s, 50s, 60s, and so many 70s. The 70s are the new 50s. You're going to save thousands of dollars on your own cabin, which is a big deal. We're one of the only companies that I know of that consistently serves the single travelers with discounts on their own cabins. And of course, you've got the SCI concierge service, which is bar none the best in the industry. You're going to get your prepaid gratuities, all your excursions, drinks with dinner and lunch, champagne with breakfast. So this is really an amazing, and sometimes when you look at when you're going, this is a new door, this is a new opportunity for you to walk through. And I challenge you, will you take that next step? Will you do it? Will this be your year to try river cruising? And if you do, it's going to be an amazing experience. Now, we promise to do a one extra special for those who are attending to the webinar tonight, and we're going to give you a code, and I'm just going to go to the next slide right now, Denise, so we can do that, and then we'll offer this. And, well, Denise, this is coming from AVALON WATERWAYS, so I'm going to let you go ahead and tell the group what you're offering.
Yes, so what we'll do for the next 2 weeks, so that brings us up to February 6th, we have another $100 off per person if you deposit by then. And that's in addition to all of these other promotions that we have out there, which is nice. So you can double dip.
Okay, that's awesome. So you're saying if they book by February 6th, Denise, all right? And
yep.
I'm saying if they book tonight, if anybody books tonight, would you like to make some more money? Would you guys like to save some more money?
Yes.
I'm hoping so. So I am personally, if you book online before midnight tonight Eastern time or your time, I'm going to be scouring these. Megan and I will be working all night taking these reservations. If you book online tonight, we're going to add an extra $100 discount to your booking. So what we need you to do is to put into your webinar, into your booking tonight, there's a coupon. And we want you to put the code in there for River Webinar 100. If you put River Webinar 100 into the coupon field tonight, then you're not only going to get the $100 off per person, but Denise, is that a shipboard credit or $100 off?
Just $100 off.
Okay.
You know what, and Tammy, I forgot to mention also, if any of the people that are listening or anybody that deposits, if they were on Avalon too and they're a past passenger, they get another $150 off. It's a welcome back credit.
That's right, Denise.
It just dawned on me. Yeah.
So here's the deal. Let's stack this up. So if you're going to book a single cabin with us for the majority of our departures, other than the April of 19, you're going to save over $2,000 on your own cabin. You're going to have all of your excursions included. You're going to have drinks included. You're going to have prepaid gratuities included. You're giving them $100 off. And that's up until the 6th. But for tonight, they're going to get another $100 off. And if you're a past passenger, and this will be important when you make the booking with us, we'll do that after the fact. You don't have to know what your number is when you make the reservation online. You'll get another $150 off from Avalon because of their Journey Club Welcome Back discount.
Right.
So sounds to me like when you're looking at the prices for this kind of a cruise, and we actually have a blog that we wrote that did a comparison between river cruises and regular cruises. How many of you have taken a big ship cruise and gotten off and had a $1,000 bill at the end?
Oh, so yeah, I did.
Think about that when you're, if anybody, you excursions, you're drinking, shops, spa treatments, all of those things. Look, we don't need the spa on Avalon Waterways because we're working out and eating.
Exactly. You're going to need a spa when you get back.
Yeah. So how does that sound, guys? Who's ready? Are you ready? Is there anybody out there who's ready to go? I'm going to tell you how to do this then. All you have to do is go to the Singles Travel International website, which is www.singlestravelintl.com. And when you get there, there's a really quick way that you will be able to search for our river cruises. I'm going to show that to you right now. I'm just logging into the site. And we have a quick search that makes it easier for you. So I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to click on cruises in the upper right-hand corner. And then under trip activities, we've got AVALON Waterways right here. So all you have to do is I clicked on cruises and then trip activities, AVALON Waterways, and then of course find trips. When you click on that, those are all the beautiful departures that Denise prepared and introduced you to during our webinar this evening. You can see all the special emblems there. When you click on the book now, you'll see what the prices are. If you click on learn more, you get to see everything that there is to need to know about the trip, who's going, what you need to bring, what you need to pack, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We just enjoyed it so much. And we look forward to having you all aboard on the river cruises of Europe in 2019 and 20.